Hello YouTube, welcome to another one of my Duel Links videos, and today I have for you a pure Fabled deck. Now I think there's a lot of different ways you can run Fabled. You can use them with like Dark Worlds and stuff like that. You can use them with Snipe Hunter. I just went ahead and built a pure build just to get familiar with the cards. I don't think this is going to be the most competitive deck you're going to see them in, but it was definitely very fun. It's also not an OTK deck because I feel like you're gonna be seeing a lot of those, throughout YouTube and on the ladder. And it's a little unfortunate that we're shifting back to an OTK meta, which is like you're playing solitaire, and you either beat your opponent in one turn or they beat you in one turn. So this is more of a more, what's the word I'm looking for? A more interactive deck. But let's go ahead and show you the cards. I got two Fabled Grimro. It's all I have right now. It's a really good card. If you control a face-up Fabled monster, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. Add one Fabled monster from your deck to your hand except itself. So you can search any Fabled monster except itself, which is really good. 1700 attack. It's not bad also if you need to just summon it and go for it. We have one Fabled Cerberus. I don't even know if that's how you pronounce that, but unfortunately I only have one of these at the moment. I feel like you can build a better deck around this card alone if you were to have three of them. If you were to have three of these and three Grimro, I feel like you could build a different build. I don't know why that sounded like that, but I only have the one, so he's just here as like a tech. We have three Fabled Raven. Kind of the main engine of the deck. You can discard any number of cards, and if you do, this card gains 1 level and 400 attack for each discarded card until the end of the turn. So it's a tuner, which means you're gonna use him to synchro summon, and the fact you can control his level by discarding cards is really good. It lets you go into whatever synchro you need to, and also because you're discarding as an effect, you can activate the effect of some of the Fabled monsters like Fabled Ganashia. So really good card. One Fabled Kushano. This card is really good, but I only put one of them because I run the two searchers, so if I need to get to it, it's like I'm running three in the deck. But I feel like one was enough for this build. You can discard one Fabled monster to the graveyard except Fabled Kushano to add this card from your graveyard to your hand. That's another way you can trigger the Fable effects from your monsters, and I really like that card. This card lets you swarm the board and do a lot of different things. Go into your main synchros, which is going to be Fable, Regine, and Armades. So I really like this card. We have two Fable Ganashia. You can special summon this card when it's discarded, and it gains 200 attack, but it is removed from play after it leaves the field if you special summon it that way. We have Fable Crust, which when discarded you can special summon any level 4 or lower Fabled monster in your graveyard, so it's really good. This will allow you to go. This is what enables a lot of your synchro summons. Again, we're only running one because I have Grimro if I need to search it, but my favorite play is to use Kushano from the grave to discard Crust. I get a monster on board and I get my tuner in hand, so then I just normal summon and go for my synchro monster. We have the Fabled Chawa, level 1 tuner. During your main phase you can discard one Fabled monster and special summon this card from your hand, which is really good. I wanted cards that could special summon themselves so that I can go into synchro plays the same turn and I don't have to rely on protecting my monster for a turn and then synchro summoning on the next turn. Same reason why I'm running two Fable Nozuch. During your main phase you can discard one Fable monster and special summon this card from your hand. When this card is special summoned this way, you can special summon one level 2 or lower Fable monster from your hand. So not a lot of times you're going to use this second special summon effect, but you do special summon this card to go into your synchro monsters quite a bit. One Hatrunade because we don't really have answers for back row. Armades and Hatrunade are the only way of dealing with against heavy back row decks. One enemy controller. I feel like it's really good because you can swarm the board fairly easily. So you'll always have some sort of fodder monster on the field for you to do some econ take place. Canadia is just really good. It also gives you fodder monsters for synchro summon and for econ take place, so they kind of just go together. And then 2 Wall of D, basic defensive cards. You can put Widespread Ruins, Mirror Wall, whatever, you know, whatever you like. I just went with Wall Disruption. Extra deck, Armades, Fabled Regine, 1 or more tuner monsters. When this card is synchro summon, if you have 1 or less cards in your hand, you can draw until you have 2 cards in your hand. So on summon, it's either going to be a +1 or a +2, depending on what your hand looks like, which is really good. Fabled Valkyrius, 1 Fabled tuner, 1 or more non-tuner monsters. Once per turn, you can discard 1 Fiend type monster to draw 1 card. It's a nice level 8. I didn't really go into him that much. Most of the time, I'm finishing the game with Regine and Armades. And then in the off chance that I go into a higher monster, I've been using Ancient Sacred Wyvern as well. But this card is still really good. And then I threw in 1 Iron Chain Dragon because he's a level 6. And if you have Fabled Raven and Ganashia, you can go into it right away, because this will gain a level from when you discard and then you special summon the Fabled Ganashia. So it's real good, just 2500 beater, that's basically what it is. It does mill your opponent if it inflicts battle damage, but you know, we're not really trying to mill our opponents out, so it's mainly here for the beater. And then Ancient Sacred Wyvern, 1 light tuner, all of our Fabled monsters are light. While your life points is higher than your opponent's, this card gains attack equal to the difference. While your life points is lower than your opponent's, this card loses attack equal to the difference. When this card is destroyed by battle and sent to graveyard, you can pay 1000 life points to special summon this card. So this card is really good to put like a high attack monster on the board, especially against things like vampires that are draining their own life points. You know, it'll be pretty strong when it hits the field. And if you're attacking directly, you have 2 monsters. Obviously, you want to attack with the other monster first so that you damage your opponent, and this card gains even more attack, enabling easy wins during the same turn. I'm using Mind Scan just because we don't have a lot of ways to deal with back row. So Mind Scan is going to let me play around things, you know, go into Armades when I need to, or wait out for my Hatred Nade, depending on what my opponent has set. We're going first up against the Kaiba. I feel a little weird. I haven't recorded in so long that I have to get back into the groove. So we're just gonna set Canadia, set a monster. We see that it's Dragoonity, so before the equip spell resolves, we're gonna flip him face down. And now we see that he has a Treacherous Trap Hole. So this is where Mind Scan is really good. I know he has a Treacherous, so my first play has to be some sort of bait to get him to activate Treacherous, and then I can go into, you know, a follow-up. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna flip my monster so that I can activate Fabled Grimro, and Grimro is gonna get my Kushano. I'm gonna go ahead and normal summon the Kushano, expecting the Treacherous Trap Hole. But the good thing is that I have a Canadia on the graveyard already. So now I can use my Fabled Nusuch effect. Discarding Fabled Crust. Crust is going to let me special summon a monster from the grave, so I'm going to get my tuner back. And now I can go for my Fabled Regine. I have no cards in hand, so I'm going to draw 2. I draw into a protection card, which is what you want. And I can even swarm the board here using my Kushano. I searched the Ganashia first, you know, discard it. Unfortunately, I don't have enough to, you know, win that turn, but I have some back row. I have 3 monsters. So I'm feeling pretty safe. He can't really synchro summon, he just destroys a monster, but it's not a huge deal. We just gotta summon something bigger than him, and we get the win. So Mind Scan definitely coming in pretty clutch there. Next we got a Pegasus. Now I'm still in Platinum, so I don't know what Legend is looking like. It's probably gonna take me a while to get to Legend, just because I'm not playing as much. I'm still, you know, enjoying my time off from work, so I just got to play this deck a little bit, and I'm not really looking to climb right this second. So who knows what Legend looks like. But here we got a balanced deck, and I see the Wing Kribo, so I'm assuming it's some sort of stall. So my immediate thought is to just go into Armades, you know, negate those monsters' effects, negate the back row, negate anything that he can have in hand. Sure enough, we're gonna see that he's setting Golden Apples and Time Machine. So obviously both of those cards we're not worried about with Armades. And even if we were, I have a Hatred Nade, so I wanted to make some spicy plays, going to some synchro monsters, but my opponent kind of scoops it up right away, if I remember correctly. So what I'm doing here is I'm searching for Crust before I discard with Raven, because discarding Grimro is not gonna benefit me in any way. We're just gonna get the attack boost. This way I'm gonna get a monster back, and then we see my opponent scoop. So it was kind of a weird deck. It was running a lot of traps, and he was running Jinso as well, so I don't really see what he was going for. But Armades was pretty safe there. Going up against J-Lo, Rex Raptor. And I'm glad I was able to save this replay. I kind of cheesed him out of the win, but I thought his deck was pretty cool. So he's gonna have a Dinosaur Kingdom. We're going first. So all I'm gonna do is set Canadias and set a Raven. We see Giant Rex, so I'm gonna go ahead and use my Canadia, hoping I can synchro summon into something. Grimro is gonna get my Fabled Crust. And then we're gonna go for the Raven, discard Crust, summon my Grimro back, and now I can synchro into a level 7. So my Ancient Sacred Wyvern is going to get some attacks, and this is what I mean. Like, I summoned the Wyvern because I don't have any back row. I couldn't go into anything that much better, so by doing this I at least put a 3400 monster on the board. I know Rex is it's kind of a beatdown style deck, so he's probably not going to be able to get over my Wyvern unless I run into some sort of back row. He can, however, destroy my Raven and then lower my attack, which is what ends up happening. But look at this man. He's gonna go Dark World Dealings, discards another Giant Rex, goes for Soul Release, but he can only summon one of them, so I don't know why he banished the two. He does get a 20, an extra 300 attack boost, so maybe that's why he did it. And here I just bait him. I switched this into defense mode, trying to make it seem like I'm in a pinch in a top deck mode, but really I just want him to go aggressive and run into my Wall of Disruption. We could still see the back row before he destroyed the monster, so I think this was the Dino Trap that gives them 1000 attack, and this was Forbidden Chalice. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. So we're gonna activate Wall of D, 2400 attack off of all of his monsters, and my Wyvern gets a boost because he lost life points. I have Hate Runade, so even if that back row mattered, I still had the answer for it, but I'm pretty sure it was a Forbidden Chalice. If I'm remembering that correctly. You guys could see that before the mind scan went away. Alright, we got a Joey Wheeler.
Duel.
And we're gonna see Destiny Hero with one back row, Destiny Hero Drill Dark. So I'm gonna normal summon Grimro because I wanted to go into Armades or into a level 5, and I have a second one in hand, so I can search my Chawa. We're gonna discard Kushano with Chawa, and then go into Armades. And this is good because I kind of went into Armades specifically to bait the back row. If I bait it early enough, I'm gonna be able to follow up and still destroy his Drill Dark. So it's exactly what I do. Kushano is gonna send my Ganashia to the graveyard, special summon that, and we can get rid of this Drill Dark. He sets 2 back row. I don't know if he didn't realize I was running Mind Scan, but that's clearly just some bluffs. So I'm gonna BM a little bit and go for an extra synchro monster. And even go, or I was gonna try to go beyond that and go into a Wyvern, but he scoops it up. And then for the last duel we got a Jaden. So like I said, not the greatest duels. This is just platinum, so there's still a lot of randomness. Didn't really run into anything super strong. I ran into a Karakuri, and I did lose because they drew like 4 cards in one turn. It was pretty crazy. I need to play that deck. but I don't know if I'm gonna have enough cards for the optimized build. So here we're gonna go for a turn 1 Armades. Actually, Regine, I'm sorry. I wanted that extra 2 cards. And once I saw that I got Fabled Crust, I knew I could go into another level 5, you know, into my Armades next turn. So I decided to just go ahead and attack. I think he's running, or I thought he was running Grit, but I guess he's not. So I just wanted to get that attack off and, you know, either force the back row or get his Grit out of the way. Unfortunately, it's a widespread ruin, so my monster gets destroyed. But yeah, we can see he's running Kawaki Mirror, so he's going to try to OTK. And I have to use my Canadia right away before he summons anything that can negate my traps. He's forced to end turn after that. Even if he had back row, I have a Hatred Nade. But right now, I'm kind of more interested in going into my Armades. But I will special summon Ganassia just for that damage. And like I said, I thought he had Grit, so I was trying to get Grit out of the way. After I see that he doesn't really have any huge plays, I just let him destroy my Ganassia. If I use my Canadia here, I win, because I can just destroy the monster and go for Armades. But I wanted to BM a little bit, go for some Synchro Summon plays. So all this is extra. The game was already won. Go for Canadia to summon a Canadia. Go for Valkyrius. Attack so I can econ take and then attack directly. Pretty easy. And that's why, you know, you still need to run cards like Canadia for this OTK decks. Unfortunately, if we do run into that kind of meta, then Hatred Nade is going to be a big problem. So at some point, we might have to turn this Canadias into Sphere Krivos. If, you know, that is what we're going to be seeing, just OTK decks. But I wanted to play Fables as a pure deck. Like I said, I think you can do a lot of different things with it. Dark Worlds, Archfiends, Snipe Hunter, just some things off the top of my head. But I hope you guys enjoy this. Thank you so much for watching. As always, like, comment, and subscribe if you want. Join my Discord if you haven't. The link will be down in the description. Along with my PayPal link if you guys want to support my channel, support my content. Really, really appreciate that. And until next time.